Alright, today we are talking about linear independence and dependence. So when is a vector said to be linearly independent? A set is linearly independent when the values of your constants are zeros. So let's say, for example, here you have u1 v1 plus u2 v2 plus u3 v3 plus up to un plus vn equals 0. If your u1 is equals to your u2 is equals to your u3 and everything is equals to 0, then you say what? It is linearly independent. But if your u1 is not equals to your u2 and is not equals to your u3, then you say it is linearly dependent. So let's see an example. So let's say I have an example here. Show that the set 1, 0, 1 and 1, 1, minus 1 and 0, 1, 0 is linearly independent. So we want to show that this set is linearly independent. Now this is your vector 1, this is your vector 2, and this is your vector 3. Now this is very simple. So you choose a constant. So choosing a constant, we have, let's say we have a, b, c. So you have your a to multiply everything here, 1, 0, 1, plus your b will multiply everything here to 1, 1 minus 1, and your c will also multiply everything 0, 1, 0 equals to 0. Where your a, b, c, so you say where a, b, c are what? Are constants. I get what I'm saying now. So your a, b, c are constants. So let's solve now. So that will be a 1, 0, 1 plus b, I want to make it much more easier, 1, 1 minus 1 plus c 0, 1, 0 equals what? 0, 0, 0. So a times 1 will give you what? A, plus b times 1 will give you what? B, plus c times 0, 0 equals what? 0. Are you getting what I'm saying? A times 0 is what? 0. B times 1, B, plus c times 1, c equals what? 0. I got what I'm saying now. The third one now. A times minus 1 minus a plus, b times minus 1 now will give us what? Minus b plus the next one is c times 0, which will give us what? 0. So plus 0 equals to 0. Are you getting? So I'm sure we can further expand this stuff to be a plus b equals to 0, b plus c equals what? 0, and a minus b equals what? 0. Do we get that now? So these are the three equations there. So let's call this one equation 1, equation 2, and equation what? 3. I'm sure we understand what I'm trying to do. So now the next major thing you have to do now is to now get the values of your a, your b, and your c. So I'm sure from here you can see that. So you can see solve equation. So if you look at equation 1, you have a and b, and equation 3 you have a and b. So it is very much more easier to solve that way. So you just say solve equation 1 and 3 simultaneously. So you want to solve equation 1 and equation 3 simultaneously. Now if I want to solve that simultaneously, I will have a plus b equals to 0, a minus b equals what? 0. Do you get that now? So from here you can see that your b and your b can easily cancel. So you have a plus b minus b equals what? 0 plus what? 0. Adding addition to this side from your understanding on simultaneous equation. So a plus a will give me what? 2a, and plus b will cancel what? Minus b equals what? 0. So automatically from here you can see that your a will be what? Equals to 0. So since a equals to 0, you have to get your B and your C now. So you now say put A equals 0 into equation, let's say equation 2. Equation 1 rather. Your equation 1 is what? A plus B equals what? 0. And that what? 0 plus B equals to 0. So your B is what? 0. So you already know that your A is 0, your B is 0. So to get C now, so let's say put B equals 0 into equation 2. Equation 2 is what? B plus C equals to 0. And that will be what? 0 plus C equals to 0. So you can see that your C is what? 0. So A is equals to what? B, and equals to what? C, and they are what? 0. So from here you say what? Your equation is what? Is linearly independent. Why? Because all your values are what? Are 0. I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say in this question. So let's move to the next question now. Given that A is equal to 3, 1, 5, so we have vector A to be 3, 1, 5, and B is equal to 1, 2, 5. So I want to check whether it is linearly dependent or linearly independent. So solution. So I'm sure we all remember now that we have to multiply it with a constant. So let our constant be U1 and U2 now. So that will be U1A plus what? U2B. I get what I'm saying now. So that will be U1 multiplied by what? Your A, which is what? 315 plus what? U2 multiplied by your V, which is what? 125 equals to what? 0. So this will be what? 0, 0, 0, right? So you have what? 3U1 plus what? U2 times 1, U2 equals to 0. U1 times 1, U1, U2 times 2 plus 2U2 equals to 0. U1 times 5, 5U1 plus what? U2 times 5, 5U2 equals to what? 0. How let them see? So you can see that all the equations are the same. So let's just pick one and solve. So you can see, so you already know this is your equation 1, this is equation 2, and this is equation 3. So you now say solve equation 1 and let's say equation 2 simultaneously, right? Simultaneously. So if you want to solve that simultaneously, I have 3U1 plus what? U2 equals to 0, and what? U1 plus what? 2U2 equals to 0. So we'll multiply this one. Let's say you want to eliminate U1 now. I'll multiply this one by 1, and I'll multiply everything here by what? 3. So this one will be what? 3U1 plus what? U2 equals to 0. Then 3 times U1 will be what? 3U1 plus what? 6U2 equals to 0. So here I will introduce minus, right? So that will be 3U1 minus 8 minus times plus will give what? Minus 3U1 then plus what? U2 minus times minus times plus minus what? 6U2 equals to 0 minus 0. So this one will cancel this. Then this U2 minus 6U give me minus what? 5U2 equals to 0. So I can see that what? My U2 here will be equal to what? 0. So I need to get my U1 now. So now say put U2 equals to 0 into any equation. Let's say equation 3 now. The equation 3 is what? 5U1 plus 5U2 equals to 0. So what's your U2? 0. So that will be what? 5U1 plus what? 5 multiplied by what? 0 equals to 0. That will be 5U1 plus 0 equals to 0. And that was 5U1 equals to 0. and your u1 is equal to what? 0. So you can see that your u1 is equal to what? Your u2, and everything is equal to what? 0. So you say what? The vector is what? Is linearly independent. So don't forget that it is when you get one, if you get 1, 2, 3, or the answer you get are different, that is when you can only say they are what? Linearly dependent. It is the same step, but it is the answer that will be different. So I'm sure you've learned something great. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. Thank you very much. Okay, the last example for today before we move out here. So let's say I have an example: v1 equals to 1, 2, 3, v2 equals to 2 minus 1, 1, and v3 is equals to 3, 0, 1. So I want to check if this is linearly dependent or linearly independent. It is very, very simple. So let's say I have a constant x1, x2, x3 here now. So that will be x1 v1 plus what? X2 v2 plus x3 v3 equals what? 0. So that will be x1 multiplied by what? Your v1, 1, 2, 3, plus your x2 multiplied by your v2, 2 minus 1, 1, plus your x3 multiplied by your v3, that will be 3, 0, 1, equals what? 0, 0, 0. Do we get that now? So x1 times 1 will give us what? X1, plus x2 times 2 will give you what? 2x2, plus x3 times 3 will give you what? 3x3 equals to 0. So x1 times 2 will give what? 2x1. Then the next one, which is what? X2 times minus 1, which will give us minus what? X2. Then x3 times 0, which will give what? 0 equals to 0. Then x1 times x3, it will give what? 3x1. x2 times this will give what? Plus x2. Then x3 times 1 also will give us what? x3 equals to 0. Now from here you can see that this equation and this equation looks alike, and this also is single. This is 2, this are 3. So now from here, you know, this is your equation 1, and you can see that this will be your what? Equation 2, and this will be your what? Equation what? 3. So we want to solve equation 1 and 3 together. So we are solving equation 1 and 3 together now. Equation 1 is what? 2x2 plus 3x3 equals to 0, and this is what? 3x1 plus what? x2 plus x3 equals to 0. Now, if you look at equation 2 here, you have x1 and x2. So, what I want to do here is now is that I should try to eliminate my x3 so that I'll be able to have what? X1 and x2. So, for you to eliminate your x3, you multiply the top by what? By 1, and you multiply this one by what? By 3. From your understanding on simultaneous equation. So this one times 1 will still give you everything, which is x1 plus 2x2 plus 3x3 equals to 0. And then this one will be what? 9x1 plus what? 6x2. Then plus 3, sorry about that, plus 3x2. 3 times x2 is 3x2. Then plus what? 3x3 equals to 0. So I'll add subtraction here because this will be able to cancel. So x1 minus 9x1 will give us what? Minus 8x1. x2 minus 3x2 will give us what? Minus x2. Sorry, 8x1 minus x2 equals to what? 0, because this one will cancel out. 3 minus 3 will cancel out. So I have minus 8x1 minus x2 equals to 0. So you can multiply through by minus. So you will be able to have 8x1 plus x2 equals to 0. So call this one equation what? Equation 4. So you can now say that your equation 1 and your equation 2 are the same. So you now say solve equation 2 and equation 4 simultaneously. So solving that simultaneously, I will have what? 2x1 minus what? x2 equals to 0, and 8x1 plus x2 equals to 0. From here you can see that this is very clear. Your x2 will cancel your x2, so 2x1 plus 8x1 will give you what? 10x1 equals what? 0. And you can see that your x1 from here will be what? 0. So for you to get x2 now, so now say put x1 equals 0 into equation what? Equation 4. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. So let's continue. Put x1 equals to 0 into equation 4. So that will be what? 8x1 plus what? x2 equals to 0. And that will be 8 into 0 plus x2 equals to 0. Then you can start 0 plus x2 equals what? 0. Then your x2 will be what? 0. So you can see that your x1 and your x2 are what? 0. So the next thing for us to get now is your x3. So you now say put x1 equals to 0 and x2 equals to 0 into equation. Let's use equation 1. Your equation 1 is what? Equation 1 is x1 plus 2x2 plus 3x3 equals to 0. So that will be what? 0 plus what? 2 into bracket 0 plus 3x3 equals to 0. So let's continue on this side here. That will be 0 plus 0 plus 3x3 equals to 0. And that will be 3x3 equals to 0. Then your x3 will be what? 0. So you can see from here that your x1 is equals to what? Your x2, and is equals to what? x3, and they are all equals to what? 0. So therefore the vector is what? Is linearly independent. So this is where we're going to stop today on the topic of linear independence and dependence. I'm sure you've learned something great. Thank you very much, and God bless you.